Today I'm going to show you a few exercises you can use with a lacrosse ball, tennis ball, whatever you have. I have a trigger point ball to help release some of your muscles. So the foam roller, which is another tool, is also great, but sometimes we want to really pinpoint some spots, and that's where the ball comes in. So we're going to start off today with a TFL release. So the TFL is right at the top of the outside of your thigh. So what you want to do is you want to find the top of your iliac crest, so right where that bone is, and then right where your femur bone is, so your hip joint, right? And in between there's about 2 inches of space, and that's where you want the ball to go. So once you find it, I like to find it standing. Sometimes if you push your hip out, you can really feel where that bone protrudes. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna actually come down onto the ground, onto your side. So you're gonna push that ball right into where you wanna release. So I bring my arm all the way down, and then you can use the top arm as a supporting arm. So if you're really tight, this might actually be enough where you have some support with your arms. But if you really want to go deeper, you let your whole body come down onto the ground and you just hold here. So you're feeling that release, and breathe into it. Really focus on your breath as you do this. Taking some slow, deep inhales and exhales. Now, if you want to move around, think of it as a belt. So you can move laterally a little bit further back so it's more towards your butt, but still in that same plane. And you can hold here and just letting it release. And then you can also go just a little bit more forward, not too far, just a touch, and feel that release. That's the TFL. The next one I'm going to show you is the glute. So as you know, if you do the foam roller, you just kind of roll onto it and roll back and forth. So similar here, but with the ball, you can actually find some really tight spots and let it release. So I'm going to just go into the middle of my glute and just use my hands to kind of lift myself up and then let myself lower onto the ball. Now you can, if you have the flexibility, you can take that leg, even cross it over the opposite thigh, and then lean into the ball. If that's too much, you can bring the leg down towards your ankle. And again, you have your arms here to help release some of that pain if you want to use them to lift yourself up slightly, or if you're really going for that deep stretch, just fall right into it. You can rock side to side, and this one maybe you want to roll just a little bit at first, and then when you find that juicy spot, then hold it here. And again, you want to hold about 30 seconds, maybe 60, but not more than 90 seconds if you're really going for that long release. And then of course, if you have multiple spots, you can move around and find the next spot, hold it, let that spot release. The only thing you want to really be careful about is you never want to be putting pressure on a joint or a bone. So if you feel like you're on that bone, you're not supposed to be there. So just remember that. And no joint specifically. So we never want to be at joints like your elbow, knee, hip, so we want to avoid those places. And if it really hurts, you're probably not in the right spot. So just try to move around, find that fleshy area, and let it release. All right, so we're going to go into the hamstring as well. So what we do with the hamstring is we're going to take the ball and we're actually going to put it underneath us. And then you're going to sit into a chair, and then you're finding that nice fleshy spot again, and you're going to extend and bend the leg, letting that ball go into the muscle and help release it. So you can hold it, you can hold the leg up, you can just let it sit and release. This action of moving the leg helps really floss the muscle and allow it to release a little bit more. So play around with that. And again, this is a nice long area of muscle, so you can move back a little bit and get towards the knee just a little bit more. And then also move it to the back part. And again, just avoiding any bones or joints. If you really find a spot that you want to loosen up, just hold. And then of course you're going to do the other side of all of these, so you're never lopsided, so one to the other. So really finding that first spot, you can sink into it, and then you can start bending and extending. Now with the hamstrings, you actually have 3 different muscles, so you may actually want to go to the outside as well. So moving around from the outside of the leg to the inside, as well as up and down the leg. So feel free to then go back and then go more towards the outside and get the lateral muscle, and then the medial muscle on the inside. So you can play around with that, but it really is a nice one to help release the hamstrings, because the foam roller can be a little bit challenging to really get a deep release in the hamstrings. So try those out. All right, so we got 2 upper body ones that are really nice with the ball. Remember, tennis ball, lacrosse ball, trigger point ball. And I like to find an edge of the wall, so it's a little bit easier to maneuver. The first one we're going to do is the upper back and shoulders. Now again, remembering not to hit on any bones or joints, so really be careful with the shoulder blades back there, but you can find all those nice fleshy areas that when you go for a massage, they like to work out. So you can start anywhere you want, and I'm going to put it right at the top part, and I'm going to lean into it, so I'm putting my body weight into it, and I'm just going to hold here. So this is a great way to just let the muscles relax and release. If you want to do a little bit of movement, you can take your arm up and bend it in and down, or keep it straight. So you can play around with what it feels like to move your arm in different ways. You can bring it forward and back. You can also open and close. So you can play around with that, and again, even if when you move the ball even lower, you may find that different arm movements feel better or worse depending on where you're at. You can also actually just bend into your legs and get a little bit of rolling around, just like you would on a foam roller, but again, it's a little bit more pinpointed to wherever that ball is. So you can have some fun playing into your back, just remembering to not roll over any bones or joints. And then the opposite, we're going to work on the chest. So it's going to be a little hard for me to show you, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to put the ball onto your chest muscle, and you're going to lean into the wall. And then again, you have the option of holding, rolling around, or doing some arm movements. So I like the edge, so you can really get deeper into that chest, so you can let the rest of your body collapse to the other side of the wall. And you're going to push into it, and again, I'm going to roll up and down, and I'm going to hold. I'm just going to move my arm in a few directions. So I'm going through this a little quickly just to give you the idea of what to do, but take your time, really think about holding for maybe 30 seconds, and then again you can move it a little bit lower, find that pressure, maybe you're moving the arm, and release. So remember, whatever you do on one side, make sure you do on the other side so you're even. But I hope you enjoy playing around with your trigger point ball and discovering how you can release your body and find a wider range of motion after you let everything relax and release.